We bring in House Majority Leader Steve Scalise, Republican from Louisiana. Leader, very good to have you with us today. Thank you for joining us. It's kind of extraordinary to listen to the Homeland Security Secretary basically say, well, this is happening in a lot of places. It's sort of unprecedented what we're seeing when they've had several years now to figure out the ideas that he is trying to put into motion now ahead of Title 42 lifting.
Martha, we have seen complete incompetence from Secretary Mayorkas, from President Biden on down. And it started with Joe Biden on day one when he became president, undoing the things that were working under President Trump to secure our border. And he sent a message, President Biden did, that very first day that America's border is open. They know it's open. Mayorkas, Biden, even Kamala Harris, his borders keep saying the border's not open. Everybody in America sees this. They're disgusted by it. These deaths that you just reported on, they're heartbreaking, but they're completely unnecessary. It should have never happened if President Biden and Mayorkas were doing their jobs, securing the border.
He talked about how the president came in and essentially on day one put forth an immigration reform plan, and he's blaming you. He's blaming the GOP for shooting that plan down. What was in it? Why didn't you like it?
Well, first of all, President Biden opened the border on day one, but Republicans were not in charge his first 2 years. Nancy Pelosi ran the House. Chuck Schumer's still running the Senate. They never brought a single bill to Congress, Martha. And I think anybody should ask the president or Mayorkas, what was your bill that Nancy Pelosi shot down for 2 years when they were running the Congress? Because they never had a bill.
Great question.
Their approach was open up the border and send everybody into this country illegally. And millions heeded that call. We've got a bill, and we are actually bringing legislation next week to the House floor. I hope the president supports this package. Unfortunately, he's demagoguing it and opposing it because President Biden wants an open border and all the negatives that come with it. These deaths that we're seeing, just think about the fentanyl, and y'all have reported on this. Very few other networks have. Every single day in America since President Biden has opened our border, we're seeing 300 young people die every day because of drugs like fentanyl coming across our open southern border.
Let me ask you this, if I may.
So we've got a bill that will fix this.
Yeah, so your bill is going to be coming forward on May 11th, as I understand it. And, I guess returning to building the wall is part of this bill. Tell me what you think you can get through, first of all, and then what do you think the Senate will do? Because I'm sensing that the GOP plan right now is just to keep passing legislation on the things that are important to you and then force it to the Senate and to the White House to say, what's wrong with this plan?
Right, and if they've got a better idea, show us your plan. But as I mentioned earlier, they've never tried to bring a bill forward, and they had the House and Senate and White House for 2 years and never tried to address the problem because they created it. We end catch and release. That's one of the big magnets into America. We fixed the asylum program that's not working anymore. We give tools to our Border Patrol agents. I will tell you, one of the things that Secretary Mayorkas has done that's the most disappointing is that he has turned the Border Patrol agents against him. They know that Mayorkas does not have the Border Patrol agents back. They're out there risking their lives on the front line. We're seeing 1 out of every 1,000 Border Patrol agents committing suicide. Those numbers are alarming. By the way, we're giving our Border Patrol agents in this bill the tools they need to do their job safely.
Yeah, their numbers are down. They put their lives on the line every day, and they are overrun at that border, which is very clear. Before I let you go, sir, I want to ask you about the debt ceiling vote. Obviously a big victory last week for Kevin McCarthy and all of you who helped to get that through for your side. Where do you think it goes from here, and how difficult is it politically to keep both sides of your own caucus behind this bill?
Well, you saw everybody coming together and saying we are willing to vote to address the debt ceiling while also addressing the spending problem in Washington that got us here. Now the pressure is on President Biden to come out of hiding and actually do his job, to sit down with the speaker. You're seeing a drumbeat, by the way, Martha, of Democrats in the House and Senate finally starting to call on the President Biden to go negotiate with Speaker McCarthy. A few of them are still, like Chuck Schumer, still want to demagogue this and try to create a debt crisis.
You think there are enough senators to get this through, so that it can make it to the president's desk?
Well, I'd like to see the Senate take this bill up and pass it to the president. It will solve the problem, not just with the debt ceiling. It'll solve the spending problem and the inflation problem that got us here. So let them pass that bill.
It's interesting. I think there is a hunger for some fiscal responsibility on both sides of the aisle. 50% of Americans say they don't want to raise the debt ceiling, which I think is a very interesting number that you don't hear a lot about. Thank you very much, Majority Leader Steve Scalise. It's always good to have you here, sir. Thank you.
Thanks. Great being with you, Martha.
You as well.